I was getting ready to do a whole video about this whole Nico Iamaleava situation, but it came to a head literally 20 minutes ago. I was literally coming on here to record my thoughts on the whole dispute, the whole NIL dispute, and I just happened to open Twitter, and the first thing that comes up, Nico Iamaleava, I don't even think he's leaving on his own accord. This actually Tennessee's just straight up telling him to get the hell out. And the original video, I was going to defend the quarterback. I was going to defend Nico because I really have no problems with these quarterbacks or any college football player for that matter coming on and trying to milk their worth for everything that is worth. Just all the years of these quarterbacks, all these football players in general, just getting completely screwed over. These college teams make so much money. I was gonna come on here and be like, you know what, good for him. If he thinks he can get more, if his camp has an accurate understanding of what his value is, and they think that they're getting undersold right now by Tennessee, by all means, go ahead and try to get as much as you can. But I got to shout out Heupel here. Really, they're in a tough position quarterback wise now, because I don't really know what quarterbacks are available after the spring window opens in the transfer portal. And just looking at their depth chart right now, they have a redshirt freshman, this kid Merklinger. I'm going to throw his highlights on in a couple minutes just so it's not just my face. And another freshman as well, kid that was playing high school football next year. So it's a really tough spot. So when I was looking at this yesterday, I was like, oh, they're going to capitulate. I think Nico was getting something like $2.5 million, and now he wants $5 million. I thought they were going to just placate him and give him another $500,000. It's a tough spot for Tennessee right now. It really is, and that's why I really thought Nico had the leverage. Very big recruit. Didn't show all that much last year. I'm not sure how Tennessee fans specifically felt about him, but definitely wasn't something that you saw and you're like, oh, he's worth $5 million, if you didn't have the knowledge that he's such a high recruit. But considering that he has 2 years under the system, that they have two freshman quarterbacks besides him on the roster, and that they're in a spot where they can't really go out and get a quarterback right now, I totally thought that they were going to capitulate to Nico and that he had all the leverage in this situation. But, shout out to Heupel. Shout out to Heupel for not growing a set of nuts, but having a set of balls and just tell him to, kick rocks. It sets a good precedent. I think that these players don't have as much leverage in these situations that they think they do. And I've seen it show up so many times in college football, just because there's no... It's a very, very disinformational market right now, just because we have no idea really what these kids are getting paid. We have ideas, but it's not public information like NFL contracts are. So a lot of these college football players, they try to hold these football teams hostage by telling them, give me $5 million or I'm going to go transfer. And sometimes, these teams call the players bluff, and they're like, you know what, we're not giving you $5 million. You can go fuck off and go play in the Conference USA or whatever. And a lot of the players, some of them have such big egos that they're like, all right, well, I'm going to go, Alabama's going to give me $10 million. I don't want to play at, random ACC school and get like $500,000. They go in the transfer portal. Alabama doesn't want them. No other team wants them because it's so late in the fucking window. And they end up having to go to a Conference USA team, probably for less money had they just stayed with the ACC team. And that's probably what you're going to see happen to Nico. Nobody's giving him $5 million. He's not getting $5 million from a single college football team in the world. The only team that had a shot, the only team that really could have was Tennessee, just because of their situation and because he's already there. He already knows the offense, blah, 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 all that. I'm going to throw on Merklinger's highlights here. I'm probably not going to pay attention. I'm probably just going to go on a rant here, but this is junior year here at Calvary Day in Savannah. But yeah, this is right now who probably is going to be the starter for Tennessee. I'm very curious to hear Tennessee fans what y'all think Heupel should do, what he shouldn't do. If you're just going to roll with the two kids here, they're definitely going to have to take some kind of quarterback in the portal. I just don't even know who's going to be available. We'll talk about Faison Brandon later and how that plays into the whole situation. But yeah, I really thought Nico was going to get his money, but I think for... The whole point that I was trying to make in this video is just the lawlessness of college football right now, and how you're going to keep seeing this show up. Until there's a CBA in place, you're going to see situations like this come up and come up and come up because nobody really knows what their rights are. Nobody really knows what their worth is. The NFL does a good job where you're just able to have a base framework of what you get paid based on where you're drafted. And yeah, you'll see holdouts when players are trying to get paid a bit earlier than they otherwise would off of their rookie deal. But besides that, you very rarely see rookie disputes. And I think that's kind of what you're seeing here because college football, obviously a much shorter window. You have 4 or 5 years of eligibility. NFL, that's really just the beginning of your career if you're a first-round pick, ideally. So, Nico's a guy that all his value is literally a first-round pick in the sense that he's not a vet. You're betting on him being good in the future. I thought they would have gave him his money and then had him start this season and then just roll a phase on Brandon next year because I think Brandon's a much better quarterback than Nico was coming out of I think Long Beach Poly it was. Haven't watched this tape on the film yet on this channel yet, but we're gonna do that after the draft. Probably one of the first kids I'll watch is Brandon. And to be honest, I was on Nico's side, and then now I'm on Tennessee's side, I guess, just because they won. So I'm enjoying the winning team here, but obviously they didn't win yet. See how it plays out. They are in a tough spot quarterback wise, but that's that money that they're not giving Nico. It's money they can just give to Faison, and I guess they pretty much admitted that they were wrong on the evaluation on Nico, and they're just moving on now. And I guess they're just gonna give that money to Faison, but we'll see. This kid looks pretty good, man. He's a pretty good arm talent. I'm not really paying attention, but want to see how he is athletically, I guess. But this is not a Merklinger evaluation. This is junior year highlight tape, by the way. I guess what I'm the whole point of this video is me saying this stuff's going to keep happening until there's a central authority in college football, and there just isn't. Like, the NCAA exists, but I don't really know what sway they have. They're definitely not in a spot where they're going to try to tell schools, how much money they have to pay players. And the NFL, for all its flaws, works well as a monopoly because it's oversaw by the FTC. Somebody oversees it to make sure that because they're the only employer, that otherwise they'd be screwing the athletes over. But there's a CBA, blah blah blah, all that. You want to start talking about unions, it's just not really realistic in college football because there's so many damn schools that it would be so hard to put 125 FBS schools under one umbrella. NFL is easy because it's not only 30, but they all kind of slowly came along. These 125 have been here for, some of them 100 years now. And yeah, they bounce between divisions and all that, but that makes it even fucking harder to me for just one central authority. The NCAA pretty much doesn't exist anymore. It's all at the conference level, I feel like. And even then, it's kind of like, if the SEC says, okay, players can only get paid X much, this is the cap. Players just going to go to the ACC, so they don't want to do that because it's going to box them out from good recruits. And, it pretty much just becomes like a union dispute. I'm not a lawyer, but, I'm very interested to see on how a lawyer would kind of approach all this. Anyways, to wrap this all up, I think the major point to take home here is there's no code, right? There's no CBA, so there's nothing that players, there's nothing that teams can refer to. It's going to be very precedent, not a legal precedent, but shit like this. Like, Tennessee just saved a lot of schools so much money by telling this kid to fuck off, pretty much. Maybe I'm over exaggerating that, but I feel like it's a pretty big moment. But this is less me trying to tell people what I think and just kind of open up the discussion because I am interested. I know Tennessee fans kind of like iffy on Nico. There's some that love him, I feel like, and maybe caught up more of what he was as a recruit. But the video I was going to come on here and say the kid's like 20 years old. He was playing high school football 2 years ago. And yeah, you want to see maybe a bit more his redshirt freshman season, this past 2024. But I thought Tennessee was going to give him just a little bit more money. Nico's fucked now. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't think there's any recourse. I don't think Tennessee's going to walk back and accept them back. But like I said, they're at a tough spot quarterback wise, and it's going to be tough to compete in the SEC with these two kids. Merkler looked pretty good. This is junior year highlights, so probably a bit more polished coming out of high school, and he's also had a whole season under Tennessee's offense. But I don't know. Faison Brandon's coming. I guess that's the hope, and you have more money to throw at him because he's going to have a pretty big market when he signs on, I think, December 15th. So, Faison Brandon, 7 months from now, but 8 months from now, I think. Yeah. All right, so let me know what you guys think. Like I said, comment section's always open, always interacting if I missed anything. Like I said, this is more of just like an instant reaction than it was a essay. I was going to take a whole half hour to prepare here, but the whole nature of the situation just changed because this kid got told to kick rocks pretty much. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching.